a very big appetite before a game, to be honest. I was always shitting myself that I was going to get beaten up for the next 80 minutes.
Well, you know, for me, this opens up an interesting conversation.
We've only got 15 minutes left.
Used to have spaghetti bolognese, and then the whole issue around, you know, vegetarian, vegan meat shifted. Shifted away from spaghetti bolognese.
It's the least interesting story I've ever heard. Next question. Now, I wore the same underpants throughout my whole career.
That's weird.
12 years. They were lucky.
That's weird. Next question.
Worked for me.
That's weird.
Well, the fact of the matter is, like, Wales were touch and go to be number one a couple of weeks back. Now they're fifth. South Africa now fourth. England are third. I don't think it really makes a difference. I think New Zealand are probably, well, definitely over the last 4 years, they've been the best team. I think they're still the favourites. USA are still 31st.
USA 13th.
No, 13th.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think realistically, New Zealand are the team to beat. Simple as that.
Agreed. Yeah, England have a massive shot.
If I'm honest, I think England are the kind of team in a World Cup that have a better chance than Ireland or Wales. A bit controversial, but I just think they, in a World Cup, managed to find a way. Like 2007, they ended up in the final with South Africa. They didn't really deserve to be there, and they should have probably won it. If Quato had scored that try, they would have won it.
Not a try though.
But they probably should have won it.
But it wasn't a try. So it shouldn't have. But I think England they're a well-rounded team now. They're not too many chinks in the armour. And against Ireland, the performance they put in a few weeks back before the World Cup was pretty comprehensive. So I think they've got a great chance actually, and I'm excited to see them play.
Actually, overall, it's going to be a really interesting World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think although I've just said that, slightly contradiction, but any team at the moment probably could come out and be close enough to winning.
It's going to be very interesting, you know, specifically given the fact that we're going to be chopping beers at 9 o'clock in the morning most days.
I'm not. Same way.
Oh.
Who do you think will win in Hargreaves?
When it comes to predicting the results, I'm kind of one of those guys who goes for the favourites. I think it's going to be very hard for anyone to beat New Zealand. If I had to say number 2, I'd say between South Africa and England.
That's it. I'll probably go the same way as you. Although I've got this inner confidence around England at the moment.
I think the difference between South Africa and England, I think England have been consistent for a long period of time. They might not have had a great Six Nations last year, but they've built a team that has played a lot of rugby together to understand each other. South Africa, I think, are playing really well at the moment, but they've only been a decent side for the last year or so.
Yeah.
They don't have that kind of that history together, which I think might hamper them when it comes to the later stages of the tournament.
Well, and then touching on that history, we know better than anyone the SCARIEST group involved in England. These guys have the experience of winning the Heineken Cup. They've won countless Premiership titles. They've grown up together into the England camp. I think they're very well positioned to step up and beat a team like New Zealand. Whereas I think there'll be chinks in the armour of Ireland, Wales, and South Africa.
Yeah, there are a lot of English players that know how to win.
I agree with that.
2 things.
Cheers.
Not the USA.
The Eagles.
No.
I'll give you a few reasons. 1.
3 World Cups, 1 victory.
1. They've selected a few of their sevens players who have made a huge impact in the Sevens series. In fact, I was just telling you this morning. 2 things for that comment.
Different game. They're a very good cricket side as well, so I'm going to help them.
2 out of the 3 nominations for the World Sevens Player of the Year are Eagles players, Falau and Steve Thompson. And I just think they could really make an impact. They've got Tonga, who, as we know, struggled massively against New Zealand, lost 92-0. They're coming up against England, Argentina and France, which would be tough games, but I think they can make a real impact.
Do you think the guys will be saying, like in the change room, under 50, under 75,
No.
what will be the...
No. And also, actually, Japan. Japan, I think, will build off their 2015 experience, and they're still very well positioned to beat some key teams.
It'll be great if Japan, had a big World Cup. They obviously took a bit of a knock against the South Africans last week, but yeah, there's a lot to play for them. So let's hope it's Japan. Not the US. I hope so. It's the World Cup, so I hope there's some key players who can shine. Otherwise, cancel the game. Cancel the tournament.
Well, again, I'm probably going on the England side of things. I think someone like, now I'm forgetting his name. That's embarrassing. The winger from Bath, who's actually, he was on the 7th circuit. What's his name?
Oh, yes, I'll look it up. I know you mean Davey Glover.
McConaughey.
Matthew.
Not Matthew.
Yeah.
McConaughey. I remember watching, he won the silver with GB in the Olympics.
Two fingers.
And
that's the most random 2 fingers.
And he is a fantastic winner.
Okay.
Cheers.
Rodri doesn't know the bloke's name. He's saying he's going to be the surprise player of the tournament.
Rodri. How do you pronounce that name?
Ruarigh.
He is a brilliant player. Really like him. This guy.
What was your best prank?
No,
what was your best prank?
I wish I could be a prankster. Ashton was the biggest prankster.
What did he do?
What
did he do that we can say on camera?
Very limited that we can say. Straddle. Who else?
I do remember you getting back from holiday and Hayden Smith had put a horse stable in your change room with some hay and a couple of blinkers on your, because as you can see in the video, some horse-like features, qualities. But probably not too many stories. It's a bit boring, eh?
No, it's Ashton. I got done by a good one. We played a game of fives before we were doing the pictures for the European photo shoot. Whoever lost fives allowed Ashton to do your lid, your hair. So I lost the game of fives. He was able to do my hair for the photo shoot, and I think you probably can find the photo of me.
We'll put that up
where I look horrendous.
Done. He was along this in the shower.
I can tell you for one, definitely not me.
Yeah, fed this from a plug.
Definitely not me.
No, is this an all ages thing? No, we'll who wrote these questions?
Can't answer that.
Next. Be less shit. I've got to say, I'm obviously South African. And what are you laughing at? You're supposed to be the captain of America, the most English bloke I've ever met. I'm a Safa, and I found the level of coaching in England far surpassed what I'd experienced in South Africa, especially in the club game. And I only played for 2 clubs, played for the Sharks, I played for Saracens, and Mark McCall, Alex Sanderson, those guys in England were absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, not a huge amount of breadth of coaches that I've worked with, but the guys at Saracens were different league.
I hate to say it, going back to Safaland, Brendan Venter.
Yeah.
One of the most inspirational characters I've ever come across. He'd froth at the mouth when he was speaking to you, trying to come up with inspirational. Actually, he didn't have to come up with it. It was just supernatural. He was motivated for players, and then obviously how he worked together with Mark McCall, who we've both been coached by. So I'd say Brendan would be the main one.
Well, the obvious one for me, I think is probably the most talented player I played with in my career, is a guy called Duncan Taylor. And he's still world class. He's played for the British and Irish Lions, played for Scotland, but he's had a terrible run of injuries. And he's still got time, lucky he's still young, but when he finds form, when he has a run, fitness, he is going to be unstoppable. And the other guy was Will Fraser. I think Will Fraser won a European Cup with Saracens, was always a fantastic player. But just at the age of 26 had the rig of a 75-year-old and didn't do him any favours. But I guess it just comes part and parcel with the game, doesn't it?
Those are 2 good ones. Although Duncan, Duncan, he's still going. He's done it.
He's still going.
Will achieving. Will won a double, didn't he?
Yeah.
Even amongst that, I'm trying to think someone who hasn't even got to that level.
But I'm saying these guys could have played 150 games for their country because they were so good, so young. And still massively successful, but I guess it comes with every career.
It does.
It's a part of the game.
But there's got to be someone. Well, like there's a very well-known story of Matt Hampson, who was scrummaging at the England camp, broke his neck. So it would have been really interesting to see where he would have gone in the game. there's got to be some other guys, even at Sarries, who retired really early from Sarries. Even some youngsters who, even prior to someone like Duncan and there must be some guys who. Oh, what about Pat Lambie? I mean, he played for the Springboks, didn't he? He retired at 26.
No, a bit older, but Pat Lager retired about 20, 28, 29. Still played 50 test matches.
Yeah.
But again, could have played 100. You know, good question. Probably terrible answers, but good question.
A bit more analytical.
You need to drink more beer.
Yeah.
That is a very good question.
This is very topical. I've just heard that the X Games, run by Ben Ryan, their version of a power play is a one-on-one. So if it's a drawn game, do you know what the X Games are?
Yeah, it's snowboarding and that's the X Games.
It's X Rugby. Can we just have confirmation of that?
Yeah, I saw that was on the BBC today, wasn't it?
Yeah, X Rugby Games, I think. Anyway, if it's a draw, it's a one-on-one. You choose someone to defend, and you choose someone to attack. Rugby X.
The X Games is an annual extreme sports event hosted, produced, and broadcast by ESPN.
Put in Rugby X.
You can probably watch it here at
I'm sorry, Ben.
Belushi's.
Bad. I should know better than that. Rugby X.
Okay.
So if it's a draw, it's a one-on-one. So basically, the whole premise of Rugby X, again, we should have Ben Ryan here to explain it much better than me. But it's a strip back. It's 5v5. It's 10 minutes, no break. It's fast-paced, full contact. So they've decided that if there's a draw at the end of the game, you literally have to pick your best attacker, your best defender. You've got 60 metres, I think the whole pitch is 60 metres. You've got X amount of space to basically beat that player and score a try. Okay. How exciting is that? Imagine if in the game you could have, instead of...
Hey, hang on. What was the question? There's one rule you can change in the game. You're talking about the X Games.
No, okay.
One run, 60, I mean...
Sorry, okay, I would make that if the ball's at the back of the scrum, it's got to go. In any situation, it's got to go. You can't hold it. Once the ball's back of the scrum, it's got to go.
I think the fundamental issue with rugby is that the laws are too complicated. It's very hard to access rugby if you haven't grown up with it. Right? We need to simplify rules instead of making more rules. I mean, the breakdown for me is the area I'd start with. I think it's an absolute joke. I can watch any game of rugby and probably justify making a decision either way for either team at any single breakdown. It just needs to be simplified. Right? We need to make this game accessible.
I prefer the one-on-one, to be honest. Breakdown, jeez.
Two fingers.
Jeez, the breakdown. I'm trying to bring some excitement to this conversation.
It's like the
breakdown.
Snowboarding competition.
I don't want to know about breakdown.
The joker.
The Queen.
I can't really beat that one.
2015 met the Queen.
I met, who's the bloke from Peaky Blinders? Irish guy.
By the way, this is a good moment to say that Hargreaves loves any kind of celebrity. A, B, C, all the way down to Z. And normally it's the Z one.
Who's the guy from Peaky Blinders?
Your man. The Irish guy.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy, yeah. So Cillian Murphy bumped into him at the Wolfpack Bar in Queen's Park. Irish guy, obviously likes his rugby, and he was like, oh, this is cool. I like my rugby. That was it. Probably that.
Is that it?
Really cool. It's not the Queen, but
yeah. He's actually pretty cool, isn't he?
Cool guy. Good show. Baz.
Easily.
Richard Barrington.
Richard Barrington.
You think so?
Yeah.
Out of everyone you played with, spanning the length of your career, which was, it's a good 15 years.
Yeah.
Still.
Baz.
And a pretty good player. He's played 160 odd games for Saracens.
He is pretty ridiculous when it comes to that.
Cool. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Baz. It's probably it's the cliche one. It's winning tournaments, right? It's winning European Cups. For me, it was probably winning the Viva, what was it called? The Viva Premiership in 2015.
Very memorable.
It was the Premiership, yeah. But I mean, I don't know the sponsor, but it was the Premiership in 2015.
Now Gallagher.
Yeah, that was amazing for me. And when I was a youngster, we won an under-19 World Cup, which was pretty cool.
Mine was winning an argument with David Strettle. You know it, Stretz.
I've had a lot. We've all had a lot, right? But the most painful recovery I've had was like quite a simple one, or the common one was the MCL reconstruction. But broken ankles, feet, collarbones, wrists, all the rest of it. The worst experience was I had a pin in my wrist and it had to be taken out, and I had to go to training that day. So the doctor got the boot spanner that we used to kind of like screw all the 12-inch studs onto the the bottom of the boots, and he just grabbed the pin out of my arm like that before training and pulled out the pin about that big and said, there you go, off to training.
Who did that?
Oh, I won't say his name. Team doctor.
Ah, okay.
Might get his license revoked if that becomes public knowledge.
Was it Roy the Kitman who actually did it? I can imagine him doing it.
We had to get the actual spanner from Roy the Kitman.
Right, okay, yeah. I decided to run into Joe Worsley, front on, and he just dipped and his head went straight into my face and sort of fractured a bunch of my bones in my face.
Alright.
I've come out looking alright, haven't I?
No, I was going to say that's why you look like you did.
Yeah. And a horse, apparently.
Basel?
I thought you were going to go to New Zealand.
No, you were saying...
no, we Tbilisi, Georgia. Cool. Very interesting place. Crazy place, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily remote. Oh, it is remote, I guess, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty remote, but it's a very different mentality in that world. The taxi drivers refuse to wear seatbelts because it's not male enough.
Ah.
Weird, right?
That's, yeah, very weird. Now mine is probably Iceland.
You've never played in Iceland?
No.
Mine is simple, easy answer. Adesanya Tuolangi. Let me repeat that. Adesanya Tuolangi. He's run at me about 10 times and I've missed him 10 times. He's run over me 10 times.
Sidestepped it 10 times.
He's
on defence.
I don't know what I've tried to do, but it's not worked.
Yeah, he's a giant. For me, it's also pretty obvious.
You can probably easily find a clip of that as well, by the way.
Fine.
Me getting run over by him.
Now the brother Tuolangi. Oh, he's run.
Bucky's Botha, South African second row, just a dangerous man. He used to run on the field, go onto one knee and pray, and we always used to say he'd probably be praying for the sins he was about to commit. So yeah, dangerous man.
Here we go, now we're getting into, how long do you want?
Oh.
How long do we need? How long have we got on that camera? What's the battery life?
So you answer, then I'll tell the truth.
Okay, in 5 years' time. Well, we've got an Olympics coming up, so I think 7...
So this is 50.
No, but
let's separate.
You've got to look at the wider picture for
No, this is about the Rugby World Cup. It's a different game.
No, but I'm answering the question. Okay. So, and I think the important thing to note here is that the Olympics is a very good format for USA sports.
Okay.
That's why it's a good sort of stepping stone into the 15s game.
Alright. That's actually a pretty good comment.
But I think ultimately in 5 years' time, I'd like to answer that question if you said in 20 years' time. 5 years' time is a bit too short. There's still a lot of work to be done. And the main bit of work that needs to be done is coaching the coaches. The coaching quality in the US needs to improve. And for that needs a lot of work, and needs to put in infrastructure for coaches to be able to understand the game. Otherwise, you can get as many high school level players, as many youth players playing, but until the coaches understand what they need to coach, then it'll be very difficult. But the fact is, USA 17 finished second on the circuit this coming year. There's the Olympics coming up, which hopefully they can push for a medal. I know that there's some talk about the US hosting a Rugby World Cup in 2030, so in 10, 12 years time. I think the future is bright if they continue to make the right steps. They went on a 9-game winning streak, including Scotland. It's difficult for them to come out of the World Cup, and I think what Japan did 2015 was off the back of having a professional league. The US now have a professional league in the MLR, which is in its 3rd year this season.
And as you say, Eddie Jones is the coach.
Eddie Jones is the coach of Japan at the time. Now moved to England, and he was able to use that professional league as a foundation. Now the US have that in place. There's a lot of elements that are coming together that I think 5 years' time is a bit too soon, but if we talk about 10, 15, 20 years' time, I think there'll be some interesting moves in US rugby.
No, I don't think the NFL's the rest of rugby. It's such a different game, as we can see by the likes of Christian Wade, Alfred Hayden Smith. It is so hard to convert. You know, you might have the same physical attribute. The game is so complex. And we saw Christian Wade make a great start to his NFL career in a warm-up game, scored a touchdown, a 60-yard run in on his first touch. Still didn't make the squad. It's a really difficult thing to crack, and I think like rugby, unless you've grown up understanding how defenders might move, how you should carry a ball, how to read lines and plays, I think it's an incredibly hard kind of bridge to gap. So I think there will be some rugby players who make a success of it. Hopefully Christian Wade's one of them. But is it a threat to rugby? Absolutely not.
Agreed. I think that now we're getting some serious.
Yeah, I like it. Beer questions. Do you know more about beer or rugby?
Beer.
Okay. Well, I'll ask that.
Okay.
We've always thought that when this whole craft beer, I suppose, what would you call craft beer? A revolution started. Everyone's focusing on ales and making wonderful, primarily IPAs. And we kind of looked at it when we started brewing about 5 years ago and thought there's a huge market for making better lager. So we don't want to be the most weird and wonderful brand or brewer in the world. We just want to make exceptional lager that's drinkable, that's sessionable. That's our kind of that's our bit. That's the role that we want to fulfill. We want to bring people together and we want people to socialise and be able to sit and have 3 or 4 beers rather than one 7.8% triple hopped IPA. So I think sessionable beers are definitely the future, and that's where we think we want to play a role. And for us, we want to specialise in making exceptional lagers.
So to answer your question, yes, we are looking at adding to our range.
But lagers.
So maybe a potentially lower ABV lager, and also on the other side we've got the Wolfpack Black at the moment, which is pouring at the Wolfpack Bar, Queen's Park, NW6608. Make sure you get there. If you get beds and bars, come to Wolfpack. And then a lighter, lower ABV lager as well, and then continuing on from that, we talk about Vienna style.
Yeah, I think that it goes back down to the very basics of beer, which is beer split into 2 styles, which is ale and lager. They both use different yeasts, and we want to focus on the lager side of things. So the Pilsner is a type of lager. You can have amber lager, you can have dark lager, you can have Kolsch's, you can have there's a world of discovery within lager as a specific style of beer, and we think there's a lot of growth to come out of that. Well, we bloody hope so.
Otherwise we're doomed.
Otherwise it's back to the office. You'll be coaching the sevens team.
No, I'll be running water, mate. Well, I'm going to go for the more like emotional response, and Alistair will go for the more analytical response. If I walked into a pub with 10 of my mates, maybe even during this craft beer revolution, so let's talk about the thick of the craft beer revolution. What would you say, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? When's that? We're in it. But if 10 of my mates walked into a pub, I reckon out of that 10, maybe 1 or 2 would say, actually, I want to try this, I want to try a Beavertown. Actually, Beavertown's become pretty successful, but I want to try a weird and wonderful craft beer, 7.8%, with double hopped and a dry hop and a chocolate twist and a lemon from Chile. He might try that once, and the 9 of us would order a lager.
Yeah.
Because it's the beer that brings people together, it's the beer that creates conversation, it's the kind of beer that creates memories. So that's kind of the emotional response from me personally, is that's the beer that we would order.
Analytical?
Go and order one.
I've forgotten the question. I was listening to you drone on there. I lost the plot. No, I think the thing that we love about craft beer and the craft beer movement is putting a focus on beer as a quality product. It's about provenance, it's about how it's brewed, and it's about quality. Now that doesn't just apply to hoppy, weird and wonderful beers, high ABVs, expensive beers. It should apply to everything. So I think there's a reappraisal happening in beer. People are starting to say, hang on, I might like lager, but I don't just like shit lager or average lager. I want to know what a good lager tastes like. I want to seek different types of lager, and I think that's happening across the beer styles as well. So although there are wonderful hoppy beers and weird beers and stouts, and a whole variety of drinks, we just think we can add value in the lager range where there's a lot of work to be done, and we think it's a really exciting space, and lager is just wonderful beer if it's made correctly. Well, I guess the reason we started Wolfpack was somebody said to us, your skills as rugby players are incredibly valuable to business people. You know, you've got discipline, communication skills, teamwork, all the rest of it. But unless you've exhibited those skills away from rugby, it's pretty useless to a business. And that's why we started. That's why we started kind of brewing beer, because we thought, oh, this is something where we can apply those skills. And I think those things are probably true. You do need discipline. You do need to be able to talk, to be able to work in a team. You know, to have, I suppose, just to have passion for what you do. And hopefully that's what we bring to our business and what we would have brought to any business that we ended up pursuing. This is just fun.
It is fun.
Make beer for a living.
I'd add like the competitiveness.
Yeah.
I'd add that into the mix. Like there's an innate, I think for Alistair and I and anyone who's been able to get to a point or to a level of professional sport, you've got to be very competitive, and I think you can take that into business as long as it doesn't sidetrack you. And that's probably the intricacy that I'm trying to learn. We're trying to learn. Competitiveness is healthy, right?
Yeah.
It drives you on and pushes you forward.
What's next for Wolfpack?
Taking over
Belushi's World Cup.
Belushi's.
That's it.
Do you know what I heard the other day?
What?
Someone told me you can be in Belushi's Hammersmith, you can watch a game of rugby, you can order a burger.
Big screen?
Massive screen.
Are there stands for seats?
You're sitting in the stands,
Yeah.
and what do you get with it?
Personally, I would love it if it was like a burger or something.
What do you get with the burger?
Hopefully like a beer. I'd personally go for a Wolfpack Lager.
That's what I heard.
You can have it?
Order a burger and you get a Wolfpack Lager.
That's what's next. I have to shave it every now and again. I'm going through like a very kind of like lean phase.
I can give you an insight into why he has a beard. If he shaves his beard, he has no chin.
What are you talking about?
He has no chin. Simple
Yeah,
as
get
that.
that in there.
Whereas I have the opposite issue, as you can see. Too long.